Some major breaking news here that will have massive implications on the 2024 election. The Nevada Supreme Court has just ruled that an abortion measure is allowed to appear on the ballot this November, which, if passed, would enshrine the right to abortion in the state constitution. The implications of such a decision are massive, considering Nevada is one of the closest swing states in the 2024 election cycle, and also a state where Democrats are defending a must-win U.S. Senate seat. All of which is to say, all eyes are on Nevada as we head toward November, and abortion being on the ballot instantly becomes the #1 issue for Nevadans casting their ballots. The development puts particular focus on the U.S. Senate race, where Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen is a champion for reproductive rights, a valuable position in a state where a staggering 69% of people support abortion rights. Contrast that with her opponent, Republican Sam Brown, who called the issue of entrenching existing abortion bans, quote, non-negotiable, which you can see in this ad.
And so I would just say that on issues of life, that is a non-negotiable for me. We've got to do everything we can to empower our state to make sure that it stays on the books. I would have supported the legislation that passed this last special session. I think that it's a shame that here in Texas, which is being lauded as such a conservative state with regard to the issue of life, half of Europe has stricter laws than we do here. And I think that we can't just let the issue lie where we're at.
And Texas appears to be on the way to having some of the strictest abortion regulation in the country.
A sweeping new round of abortion restrictions are becoming law in Texas.
That law was designed to shut down abortion clinics across the state of Texas. In a state that has already seen dozens of women's health providers close down, this new law was set to close down at least a third of all the clinics in the state in one fell swoop when it went into effect.
The reality is that before the law, some women were able to obtain abortions, and now many women are not.
And so I would just say that on issues of life, that is a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah, not great if you're calling support for abortion bans, quote, non-negotiable in a state where, again, 69% of people support reproductive freedom. Sam Brown might have the state of Nevada confused for his church. Nevada now joins a long list of other crucial swing states where abortion will appear on the ballot. The Florida Supreme Court and the Arizona Supreme Court just handed down identical rulings, but only after both of those state Supreme Courts also allowed existing abortion bans to stand. In Florida, Ron DeSantis' 6-week abortion ban will take effect, and in Arizona, an even more draconian total abortion ban, first put in place in 1864, is in effect. In fact, Arizona state legislators had the opportunity to repeal the law, and this is what they did instead. The applauding you see there are state Republicans celebrating the fact that they blocked any effort to repeal the law, meaning this 160-year-old ban is now officially the law of the land, at least until voters have the chance to have their voices heard on the topic. And to that point, Republicans are already panicking and flip-flopping their positions ahead of the November elections. For example, Arizona's own Kari Lake released a statement saying, quote, I oppose today's ruling, and I am calling on Katie Hobbs and the state legislature to come up with an immediate common-sense solution that Arizonans can support. Which doesn't exactly comport with this clip of Kari Lake from the 2022 gubernatorial debate, which shows her actual views on the issue of abortion.
Kari, we'll start with you on this one. The new law banning abortion, the new law banning abortion in Arizona after 15 weeks. There's that law, and there's a territorial era law which bans all abortion. Zippo, over. Which law do you think should take effect?
My personal belief is that all life matters, all life counts, and all life is precious, and I don't believe in abortion. I think the older law is going to go into effect. That's what I believe will happen.
Okay, but you approve of that? At conception?
I believe life begins at conception.
Okay, what do we do about abortion pills? What do we do about?
I don't think abortion pills should be legal. That's
not in Arizona.
I believe life begins at conception. In other words, she agrees with the substance of this ban. So either Kari Lake's supposed deeply held principles completely flipped in the span of less than 2 years, Or she's seen what happens to Republicans who support these draconian bans, and so she's just saying whatever she needs to say to get elected. Take all the time you need with that one. And let's be clear, Kari Lake is only echoing what Trump is hoping to accomplish on the national stage. The guy spent the last few years bragging about how it was his Supreme Court that overturned Roe.
Especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended.
And yet now, recognizing the extent to which this is going to hurt him, he's trying to claim that he's some moderating force looking for compromise between the left and right. He's not. And he's trying his hardest to make sure his supporters know that he will say whatever he needs to say to get elected by winking at them with statements like this.
You must follow your heart of this issue, but remember, you must also win elections to restore our culture and, in fact, to save our country, which is currently, and very sadly, a nation in decline. Our nation needs help. It needs unity. It needs us all to work closely together. Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, everyone, we have to work together. We have to bring our nation back from the brink, and that's where it is. It's at the brink, and we will. We will do it. I promise you, we will do it. Always go by your heart. But we must win. We have to win.
And the reason for his obvious panic is this. Since Dobbs was first handed down, voters in 6 states, California, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Vermont, and Ohio, have been able to vote on constitutional amendments protecting abortion rights, and every single time they won. That is why Republicans are panicking, because they know the fate that awaits them. So I want to be perfectly clear here. If Republicans take control in 2024, at any level of government, they will 100% try to pass a nationwide abortion ban. And not just in red states, in all states. That means that people in California, in New York, in Vermont will all be subject to the same draconian ban. That is what this election's about. The Republicans will try to spin it, they'll release slick talking points, they'll change their positions, they'll disavow what they said only months or a couple of years ago, they'll try to make the Democrats seem like the extreme ones. It is all noise. The American people have made abundantly clear where they stand on this issue, and it is as far away from Trump and his MAGA acolytes like Sam Brown and Kari Lake and Ron DeSantis as possible. And in the same way that we all made our voices heard in 2022 on the back of Dobbs, and in 2023 on the back of Dobbs, and even earlier this year on the back of Dobbs, we're gonna do it again in November. Because as much as Republicans want to remake this country in the mold of their Christo-fascist fever dreams, the American people are awake, they are paying attention, and they're voting. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.